Good morning to most, good afternoon to others, and good evening to the viewing audience across the pond. I am your host, Jason Miles, here for another episode of This is Revolution Podcast. Before we even get started with the show, we have to say, Broncos country, let's ride. Big day. Big day. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for taking the time to check us out. If you are a returning listener, subscriber, or one of our very valued patrons, hell yeah! Let's go! I want to thank all of the guests and all the good people that took the time out of their busy schedules to check out the week of shows we had here on TIR. We kicked off the week with a special Monday show where we had another TIR Universe Power Panel, including Ben Burgess from Give Them an Argument, Derek Varn from Varn Vlog, and we discussed the current administration's use of ICE and Border Patrol as an occupying force. Then I was pleasantly greeted by Project Censored's Mickey Huff, and we discussed the crisis of media in the era of fake news and AI and media illiteracy. After that show, we actually had a fun champagne room where we got to have a bit of a, I don't know what you would call it, a best of, if you will. It was the best metal record of 1986. We were joined by God Forbids, Doc Coyle. Mickey joined us. Ben and Derek also chimed in, as well as all of the TIR Patreon faithful. So that was a lot of fun. Wednesday, it didn't take long for the Red Zone to go totally off the rails. I believe we went all of 15 minutes before we started to break down fight footage of a street brawl between, well, I don't want to give too much away. Just know that the show is up and you should check it out. And Thursday, we finally got to speak to Carrie Farrell, the hipster grifter. We had a very deep and honest conversation with one of the first viral con artist sensations. All these shows are up now, and if you're done here, or after you're done here, make sure to check those out. All of these shows are up for you to listen to or watch on YouTube. We do have playlists for all of our programs on TIR, so when you're done here, make sure to check those out. At TIR, we pride ourselves by not churning out simply disposable content. We try to create programming that is thoughtful, challenging, political, cultural, historical, reverent, and at times downright chaotic in what we hope is the best way possible. We cover the stories and ideas that matter, not always the ones that trend. We bring you conversations rooted in analysis, solidarity, and intellectual curiosity, and we do it without selling out to the algorithm and without trying to become another outrage factory. But none of this happens without you, the patrons, the supporters, the people who tune in, share, argue, question, and help keep this show alive. It is your contributions, large and small, that make TIR possible. So if you do enjoy what we do here on this show, then consider becoming a patron or a paid YouTube subscriber. For as little as $3 a month or a one-time payment of $30 for the year, you can have access to our movie nights, champagne rooms, the crisis papers, which is something we're talking about today, or our new weekly newsletter. And you get the satisfaction of knowing that your small donation is a major part of keeping TIR on the air. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's get to what you guys came here for in the first place. Where the hell did all the white guys go? Recently, a Compact article sparked both praise and outrage, and those are two emotions that are hardly foreign to Compact. In fact, depending on whose outrage, one could argue the article worked exactly as intended. The piece in question is Jacob Savage's The Lost Generation, a roughly 10,000-word lament about the supposed lost opportunity of millennial white men to make it in legacy media in Hollywood, an industry Savage argues has been sealed off by Gen X gatekeepers and undeserving DEI hires. Now, to be clear, we don't have to lie to critique this. There was a moment, brief, reactive, and overstated, when hiring people of color was treated by corporations, universities, and legacy media as a corrective to decades of exclusion. That moment coincided with economic decline, layoffs, and institutional panic. And yes, during that period, identity was sometimes used as a proxy for progress. But that moment didn't last long. It was a blip, not a revolution. The Lost Generation is ultimately a wordy attempt at rebranding reverse racism, a story in which Black women and older white men in positions of authority are cast as fearful gatekeepers suppressing the rise of millennial white male creative genius. In Savage's telling, this conspiracy has left men like him locked out of the creative industries and stuck in dead-end work, ticket scalping. He's a ticket scalper. In his case, rather than fulfilling their destined place in Hollywood or legacy media. But what Savage really seems to want isn't to create, it's to be famous. And those two desires are not the same. Nothing is stopping anyone from making a movie, recording an album, writing a play, launching a magazine, or building an audience online. But wanting entry into legacy institutions, the old guard of media in Hollywood, is a very different terrain altogether. That world has never been governed by meritocracy. It has always been shaped by class position, family connections, elite education, and proximity to power. Even the DEI hires Savage imagines as stealing his spot are overwhelmingly drawn from the same upper classes, graduates of elite universities and liberal arts colleges, fluent in the same cultural codes as the rest of Hollywood elite. This is not a story of working class displacement. It's a story of intra-elite competition. And that's precisely why the Lost Generation rings hollow. It's not a defense of the working class white people in the interior of the country who truly are locked out of creative industries. The essay contains no class analysis whatever. Instead, it reads as a plea for status and prestige for one person, Jacob Savage. My response to Lost Generation, which is linked in the description of this show, was not simply written as a way to capitalize on a popular news article with hopes of increased engagement. It was a warning and an olive branch of sorts to those who are momentarily intoxicated by the idea that DEI and even older white liberal males merely exist only to disenfranchise. It ignores the economic realities of Hollywood's decline and the rise of white nationalist rhetoric that we see right now. So Lost Generations functions kind of as a soft power manifesto for these types of racial chasms we're seeing the world devolve into. So today on This Is Revolution, we're going to talk about what Savage refuses to ask. Where did all the white men he claims disappeared actually go? What happened to Hollywood? What happened to legacy media? And what does it really mean to make it in a world where capitalism has no obligation to reward art, talent, or sincerity? To join me in this is the voice of reason on this show. Please welcome M. Toussaint.
Hello, hello. It's good to see you, Jason. It's good to know that we have the Joe Buddens of TIR. However, we are missing the Mark Lamont Hill of TIR.
Oh, wow. He's the Mark Lamont Hill?
Yes. But I'm here, the vagina of TIR.
Hey, it's the broad.
Yeah.
And
We're
broad's there.
interchangeable over here. Doesn't matter.
Sorry that you have to be that woman on the Joe Budden show that is literally just there for those guys to be like, hey, girls suck, right? Not really. Shut up, bitch. Like that's how that show feels to me.
Is her name Melissa? Is her name New Girl? We don't know.
We don't know. Clip that, by the way. Hopefully. There's this new AI feature, or they're letting us do these reels, so hopefully that gets clipped and Joe Budden sees it.
Nice.
Slams a desk. How dare this attractive light-skinned nigga say that to me? I'm not light, nigga.
Yes.
So
where do you want to start with this?
Oh, I wrote questions.
Okay.
And sadly, we want to say, I want to acknowledge this. Pascal Robert is having insane technical issues. The man has a new computer and still couldn't connect and was getting dropped. So hopefully he does show up. If not, we all understand because he's very frustrated in Miami right now. So shout out to Pascal Robert.
Yay.
I'm sure he had a lot to say about this. But how do you think Savage conflates personal and generational disappointment with a certain kind of structural exclusion? Do you see a difference between losing prestige and losing power?
Interesting. Prestige and power don't necessarily go together.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are unknown, not famous, not
Mm-hmm.
celebrities, and they have a lot of power. We don't know who most billionaires are. They
Ooh.
keep a profile, right?
Mm.
But our friend Jacob with a K, he seems to want prestige, probably more than power. He says he has two sons and he's disappointed that he won't be able to live his dream of bringing his kids to a movie set and, I don't know, basking in the glory of
What did you think?
him differently.
What did you think when you saw that? Now, for those that don't know, Toussaint actually is one of those art school kids.
Yeah.
But you actually worked in a creative industry. You worked in the design industry. You worked as a clothing designer for a hip hop, we call it a hip hop brand.
Streetwear.
Streetwear, sorry. That's how black and old I am.
That's okay. It was also considered urban.
You worked for one of the N-word clothers.
Yes.
Big baggy N-word stuff.
Big baggy N-word.
But then you also, as that world kind of came crashing down to legacy fashion, right? Totally abandoned by the hip hop class for, established legacy brands. Like, this N-word stuff doesn't really hit the same way.
Yeah.
Let me go work for this bigger designer and not create my own thing. Which is funny because those are really like these up from poverty stories for some of those people. Like, I started with one press, used shirts.
That's Damon John. I had a bunch of sewing machines in my living room, and my mama was like, "What?"
Yeah. Right. And then it's like some French person says I'm cool, so I'll wear that stuff. But you leave that world and then you go all the way to China and design socks.
I did.
So I feel like you too understand changing markets and I don't want to say following a passion because that sounds a little overly dramatic, but
passion for fashion. Everyone says it. Just don't put it on your resume. That's what I learned.
But you really did have, that's why you went to an art school. Like you did everything in your power to do this thing. And you can say you did it at a certain level. Maybe one day you'll get back to it if you care enough to.
I'm not bitter.
Yeah. But talk a little bit about your journey in this. Because I think when you've done these things, you read this piece as like, oh, dude, you just want to be famous.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So, yeah, I've gone to art schools for many years. Not just my high school, but my high school was like 4 years intensive of art. We had majors in high school, and art was my major. And I decided that I wanted to go in art and design direction after high school. I wasn't going to go to college, but eventually I decided to go. I actually, real quick, my college entrance essay was about me calling Hot 97 because I heard the creators of PNB Nation on there. And I was like, when I heard that we went to the same high school, like one of them went to my high school, I was like, hey, hire me. And he was like, no, we are not going to hire you unless you go to college. And basically, he just kept turning me down. And I decided to go to college. That was my college entrance essay.
Wow.
Yeah. So I really did want it. I was not going to go otherwise. I was like, just put me in the industry, put me in the game, boss, and
Put me
Yeah,
in, coach. And they were like, nah.
yeah, put me in, coach. And they were like, no, we're not messing with you unless you get an education first. And I can understand why. There is a lot to learn. You can do it without the education, but you would be missing a lot, to be honest. Fashion is notorious for dropouts. Like Marc Jacobs is a dropout. He dropped out of Parsons. You don't have to go to school for it, but I think you do lose a lot. Just not just in what you learn in your field, but in the college experience and what college has to give you. But yeah, you could be scrappy and you could do a lot of things on your own. I was going to try to start my own label. That's extraordinarily difficult. Life happened. I mean, my sister was a lawyer and her boyfriend was a business guy. And eventually we were going to go into business together. I didn't know how serious they were about it until my sister died. So, right after I found out those plans that they were cooking up to work with me. And so I think that really just changed the trajectory of my career. But I definitely went hard. I've had some very interesting interviews. I've met some very, very famous people. I've worked at some very cool places. It's been a ride, but this guy doesn't seem to want that ride. Our friend Jacob with a K, he kind of just wanted to go straight to the top. I wonder how much of this is like mediocre white guy stuff.
You felt the same. So when I was reading it, that was the first thing I thought, right? And I hit up Bert Cooper right away. And I was like, this feels like the lament of a mediocre person. And because one of the things you don't get in it, and it's 10,000 words of a lot of interviews from people saying things like, they made me interview the black person and the black person said something stupid. And you don't really know any of his work, right? We don't, because he goes, well, I couldn't get anything done. I'm like, you couldn't do anything? Like, there's no links anywhere to anything you've done that people can see and say, man, this is a shame that this happened to you, that you got locked out of an industry. You know, even if I was to think that way, because I don't think people are locked out of an industry because you know, the guy got to Hollywood. I think he says he got there in like 2011. So he's already admitting to coming up in this era of like total white dominated nonsense. So we don't know if he came to Hollywood like, so I got this script. We're going to take Adam Sandler and give him a time machine.
And put it in a hot tub.
Yeah. And then he goes all these different places and he just does Adam Sandler shit. Like we don't know at all what he was pitching. And you kind of have to take at face value when he goes, well, someone told me that I could have gotten a job here, but I can't hire you because you're white. And the irony is, I actually know people in Hollywood. And what's crazy, the same time Lost Generations came out, BBC released an article saying, hey, white people control the majority of media that you watch. 91%. There's a link in the piece I wrote to it. Because you have to have some real data because people believe that they were reading real numbers with Savage. And another thing that Savage doesn't do is there's just like a class blindness. Why do you think the absence of class analysis is kind of fatal to Savage's argument? Like, who actually does really control Hollywood and legacy media? Because if we turn on any streaming service, we're going to see white people in front of and behind and all around the camera. And a lot of these movies and shows that we're seeing are not being shot in Los Angeles. They're being shot all over the world. A lot of union jobs are gone. You know, I had a response to the piece that was like a 3-paragraph response from someone that literally worked in Hollywood, and they appreciated the fact that I spoke to someone who actually worked in the business Bill Cody, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like that.
and he actually gave me numbers as well that you could see that are also linked in there, that you could see that there is a decline across the board in domestic film production. And that's not really talked about in this piece. I don't think they mentioned the decline in domestic production at all.
I feel like there's the narrative, oh, millennials, we did everything you told us to do, and then this is basically what the world you created delivered us. And I understand that. When I first got into the industry, sorry for the sirens, I was told basically that I graduated at the wrong time. You just missed it. There was money everywhere, and there was coke everywhere. There was girls everywhere. You missed it. And it sucks to feel like you're just the wrong age for, I guess, your dreams. But he had to know that Hollywood by then was not what he was dreaming about anymore. It was not that thing anymore. It had completely changed. And it's not what it used to be. But then it feels like I've been trying to figure out how people become conservative and what they sound like when they speak. And something about him sounds stuck in his childhood,
Yeah.
stuck in some previous era that also is not here, and also stuck in an era that didn't really exist. He's
That's
just
what it
not
felt like. Yeah.
right here, right now. Yeah.
That's what it kind of felt like to me, where it's like, I don't think, like, what do you think it was? Where are these magical writing rooms that still exist? How long do you think those things existed before you got there in the first place? Like, some of these things that you opine for were short term. We can't deny that there was a moment where it was like, we need to see more, faces of color, listen to Black women, Oscars so white, definitely in academia, right? We've talked about it at length on this show, but it also felt like that piece was kind of stuck in 2018, maybe.
Maybe there's a little of like 1999 in there too. Like you're in high school. Something in here is like very pre-working world in here. Yeah, I mean, and to bring it back to class and capitalism, he doesn't mention capitalism.
Not at all.
He doesn't mention material conditions. It's just everything is how I thought it was when I was a kid. And now I can't succeed because of these new things that came in, these new initiatives. It's very strange. He doesn't see like the nepotism and the people who went to the fancy schools who have connections and the networking. He doesn't see any of that. None of those people are the ones who moved his cheese. It's the POCs and it's the Gen X white guys who are doing this to him. And something interesting my mother said once. She was talking about this guy and she's like, someone's always doing something to him. And a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, sometimes that's the best. And it feels like somebody's always doing something to you.
Yeah.
Someone sent it to me after someone had complained to me in a very similar tone in some messages online. And that irritated me again, because like you, I spent years in a creative space where I could easily say, had I been white, then I would have had doors open for me. Because I made weird electronic music with another person of color, and nothing we did was conventional. And if I just look at that argument. Like, this is a white dominated world. All the label owners are white. All the magazine people are white. Just because white people don't want to let a black person in. Yeah, that could have been part of it. I don't know. And also, I could have sucked. Like the hardest.
There's always room for that.
That's the hardest thing to really grasp. Like, well, maybe I'm not doing something, right here. But regardless if I sucked or if white people were preventing me from being famous, no one prevented me from getting in a van and driving all over North America for years and playing a show in every town that would let us play there. You know what I mean? Like, you can do it if you want to do it. And eventually we got to a certain, and I write about this in the piece too. It's like we got to a certain point where we were respected by even legacy media. But those things don't equal dollars and cents. And if you want dollars and cents, then it's just a whole different thing. And it's not really about white people and who likes you at that point.
It's interesting. In my attempt to make my dreams come true, I applied to a business incubator, sponsored by a very big and famous company. And it was for African American women. And I didn't know that because it said Black. Had it said African American, I wouldn't have applied. Anyway.
Oh, you didn't get it because of your Haitian heritage?
No, I did. I did get in. And at one point, the leader of our incubator was like, if any of you are not African American, don't tell me at this point. I don't want to. And I was like, oh, put my hand down. So I'm in there and I'm dealing with all these women, and we all have different businesses, and we're all, bushy-eyed and bright-tailed and all of that. And there was one woman, she wanted to have a restaurant in Harlem in like a fancy area. And she submitted her business plan, which I assume was good. She got a lot of attention in class, and we all thought she was going to make it in for being like kind of a favorite. But she didn't. And someone told me in the end, the reason why she didn't get into the higher echelon, the accelerator program of the incubator, was because she wanted to open a restaurant. She wanted to sell food. She had this whole business plan. But what are you going to say when you look at, mommy on the corner selling the little ices, this Mexican lady with the cart? Like, why don't you want to take that step? Why don't you want to build up from somewhere instead of just going for the big, I want a fancy restaurant kind of thing? Like, there was no excuse in the end. And that's why she didn't make it into the accelerator program. She was not interested in bootstrapping. I mean, when I first got into the industry, it was like a joke. Me and all my friends who went to college together were like, we'll sweep up buttons, whatever you need us to do. Like, I will sweep buttons for you. One of my friends, a white guy, he printed on his business card that he was available for late nights, for working long hours and late nights. Like, we knew that there was going to be a lot of work involved, and this guy, he doesn't seem to know that. He doesn't talk about his work ethic, or dare I say grit, which was a popular word people were using, saying that millennials don't have any. But he makes no real mention of any of the work that he was putting in or willing to put in. Like, that whole step, any bootstrapping, anything like that is like missing. Which makes him seem, the glaring absence of that makes him seem that much more mediocre.
That's right. Because you're like, well, why didn't you try to do something different? And that actually became, what you're talking about became part of the argument, so to speak, right? Because when this was going on, I was in the middle of publishing an article that's out right now in Current Affairs magazine about Donald Trump and pro wrestling. And I saw that and I hit up my editor and she was like, oh, we're joking about it now. And someone at Current Affairs, one of the editors had tweeted a response, which caused one of the editors at Compact to reply and then just start shitting on Nathan Robinson. Really, they're being kind of mean. And then they wrote a response, I think, in that they were like, well, you guys just all started podcasts because you were locked out because of wokeness, and wokeness actually, locked you out. And I my first thought was Bhaskar Sankara had made a statement a little while ago where he said Zoran Mondami applied for an internship at The Nation and they declined him, and so he ran for mayor of New York.
Damn.
Like it actually happened in that timeline.
Zoran also, so in New York City, there's like 5 specialized schools. 4, I believe, actually. 3 have to do with math and science, and 1 was the school that I went to, which had to do with the arts. I also applied for the ones that have to do with math and science. So did Zoran, and neither of us got into Stuyvesant. He also didn't get into Columbia, which I was considering going to as well. He lost. He was a loser at one time. And obviously he had a vision and he kept going. This guy's only vision was like having his 2 kids come to a film set that he was like in charge of. I think personally, he only had the 2 kids to fulfill that dream of bringing them to a film set so they could see how great he was. That's what the kids are for.
Frightening if that's the case.
Some people do it.
That's some Donald Trump shit.
He's all ego. Come look how great I am. He's, when some people get money and power, you get to see who they really are. He would probably have golden toilets too.
He does seem like a golden toilet guy. Or at least the kind of guy that would have a big party to show off to his friends that he can have a big party.
500 of his closest friends.
500 of his close. Yeah, that kind of guy. Oh, yeah. Did the valet park your car? Oh, I'm so thankful that you came. Thank you.
I'm grateful. I write in my gratitude journal every day.
Don't worry about tipping the valet. We pay them well. Don't worry. We save some gruel for them out back. Don't worry. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
You killed the hooker. My maid will take care of it. She doesn't talk. She's good.
You killed one of our complimentary hookers in the bathroom.
Put the hooker in the trunk.
This isn't even the red zone, Tucson.
That's actually a Craig Ferguson late show reference. Put the hooker in the trunk.
To ignore the class component of your whole and say, why won't Hollywood let me in? And you're also ignoring the fact that you had the means to move to Los Angeles. And there's large swaths of the country filled with white men. Maybe some of them would like to be in Hollywood and write scripts or work for legacy media. But they're locked out for other reasons, and that never got brought up in the piece. So to me, it's like, this isn't really about, white people getting locked out, much like, and that's why I did quote an Atlantic article from a Black writer. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, because I saw a lot of that in this moment we'll call the Great Awakening, and I'm sure you saw it too. That's like the rise of anti-racism and Ta-Nehisi Coates, especially the 1619 Project. Things that, unless like maybe 1619 was taught in your kid's school or your school, you might not even remember who these people are, which is so crazy how fast this stuff moves. And it also kind of speaks to how empty the whole argument in the piece was, because that moment is so over. But a lot of those pieces were like, I'm locked out of this avenue because of racism. And DEI and racism function as the same thing, right? My ability to do it, how these industries work, none of that matters. which is why Bert Cooper's piece, Who Gets to Write for Black People in Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
was so important. And he told me recently that someone actually teaches it in one of their syllabi.
Wow.
Because the whole premise of the point is to say, look, there's all these people of color in Hollywood writing about people of color, but they all
Mm-hmm.
come from elite backgrounds. They went to elite institutions. They're just Black elites.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Mindy Kaling and Issa Rae.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. They're Ivy League graduates, and you go to those places very much to make connections, to network. That's how a lot of these people find their spouses as well. You're in. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. It's interesting. I do feel like Bert's ghost. He's not dead, but Bert's ghost was sort of hanging over. That's not a Casper joke. Was hanging over this piece. Bert has. I mean, I kind of wish Bert would turn into Jared Ball in the sense that he would just have, this is my idea and I'm going to bang this drum and make sure everybody understands it. Because his point about Black elites is super important. And so many people are locked out of creative industries, or they're kind of effectively silenced because what they want to produce does not look like what a white guy like him,
Mm-hmm.
who would be in the majority in the decision making places in these fields, would think a Black person or a person of color would do. They think the Native Americans are topless and wearing feather headdresses, and they don't know that Native Americans wear a lot of denim, like denim on denim,
Oh my God.
like Canadian tuxedo denim. They don't know that. They haven't updated anything. Yeah, this guy, I wrote some notes. Let's see.
Let's see what you said. Let's go off your notes. Come on, bring it on.
Let's go with my notes. Let's see. He doesn't question why so many white men were in power or employed. Only why not me?
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't have like systems thinking. I mean, I feel like George Soros's ghost was also hanging over this piece. Like, who's running Hollywood?
Jews on the brain.
Obviously, it's George Soros who's running this.
And I would before Toussaint continues, I want to remind people that this was like retweeted by JD Vance as an important reading, which is why I felt the need to talk about it. And I kind of mentioned it in the introduction as well, is that there's a feeling right now of frustration because of the Great Awakening and this idea that as resources were dwindling, they were doled out to non-deserving people of color. And identity was so front facing in that moment, which is why I think even with the tragedy in Minnesota, you see people focusing on this woman's gender. Well, she was just a liberal gay white woman. And it kind of speaks to the emptiness of the Great Awakening, because it existed in this universe of, there's this thing called white supremacy and it's always keeping me down. And once we eliminate feelings, because it's ultimately what it is, once we eliminate feelings, then and only then can we get ahead. And what you saw, or what you're seeing even in Minnesota, is like, well, that's assuming that all of your problems are because you are, in Toussaint's case, you're a Black woman. And had you been a white woman, then you wouldn't have any issues. And then you have a white neighborhood with a white woman getting shot in the face by a white guy who, after he did it, called her a bitch and then denied her health care. So is being white really the thing that's separating you from greatness? Because it sounds like being white doesn't separate you from too much other than being called an N-word.
Kind of a big deal. Not being
I mean,
called.
it depends on who calls it to you, right? If I say it, then you're fine.
It's interesting. I don't want to say fascism is like the great equalizer, but it'll let you know you ain't special. It'll let you know.
Yeah, for sure.
My friend who bootstrapped and made his own t-shirt company. He had a t-shirt that said, "It's chain snatching season. Everybody catches it." So yeah, that's fascism, right?
Mhm.
Everybody, it is chain snatching season, and yeah, eventually everybody does catch it. There are some people who are learning what whiteness is, what it is in the context of fascism. But this guy, like in the 80s, we used to have a saying, "Magic gold," that being light skinned was magic gold. You can get anything you want, but there's some people who do think that being white is magic gold. You're Super Mario with the star. You could just run through anything.
And they never read any like white contemporary fiction or any like books about white
This
people.
guy is in the past. Like he doesn't even know. He doesn't know it, and it seems like I guess in terms of class, he grew up in a nice enough background. Like
Yeah, he did.
he
Yeah.
seems like objectively unaware that some white people are not doing the Super Mario with the star thing. They can't do it. He thought he was gonna walk in the door and kill those ducks with the turtle back and just get through. And it's like, bro, it doesn't work like that. He's not in reality in this. And I definitely get the sense in your piece that you were trying to give him a reality check, trying to bring him back into the present.
Mm.
And that's something that he was absolutely not in during
No.
this piece.
Well, to me, it goes back to what we were saying about you going, I'll sweep up the buttons. Just give me a shot. And this show exists in a world of nothing but white shows. And the handful of black shows that exist in it are blackety black shows, right? Like I have to wear my identity as a brand marker so you can figure out who I am so you can watch it or not. And I think that's a big problem with the growth of this show to a certain degree, because I can't lie and say people don't like looking at themselves. If that wasn't the case, 100 million white men wouldn't have started podcasts, in 2020. But the reality is, it's not going to stop me from doing what I want to do the way I want to do it. But I am aware that I have to say the holy trinity, like, patriarchy, white supremacy, and capitalism.
Right.
And then people listen to you, and I have to act like I'm part of a revolutionary vanguard of gun-toting colored folks.
You're not standing by the window with the gun like Batman.
Every black dude they see is doing it. And when you don't do that, I think it is kind of hard for people to figure it out. Again, especially in this space. But then you gotta, if you really believe in what you do, you just say fuck it and you do it, right?
Agreed.
And this show is a lot of fuck it and we do it. And to see someone kind of whine, especially when everyone that was marginally talented, or let's say locked out of academia, and this isn't a knock on the adjunct friends of the show, but tenure is very rare right now. And there's associate professors and adjunct professors that are a part of this show all the time. And some of those people get podcasts, and because of the professor tag, the PhD tag, regardless of where they went to school, you get looked at as an authority, if not an expert. That helps. a lot. And you kind of ask yourself, okay, well, why didn't you just go that route? Like the rest of your white friends. Like, they all started, a lot of them did really fucking well.
That was sort of my question as well. It reminded me of something interesting Will Menaker from Chapo Trap House said a few years ago, probably like 2020, 2019, he said this. Chapo Trap House is 10 years old this year, I believe. So they started in 2016. And he was saying that, I guess in his cohort, it was all about what happened to you in 2008. Did you lose your job? Did you lose everything or not? And the people who didn't, they're grateful for where they are, blah, 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 but they have no idea what it's like to be the person who lost in the Great Recession and had to figure out how to make another way for themselves. They also don't really want anything to do with those people. So there was like a separation of these like college educated professional people. Those who really could not get a job. I felt that actually also. I had terrific struggles getting and keeping a job. In the beginning, I could get jobs really easily, but it seemed like they were all what we would call Mickey Mouse companies. A lot of companies I work for don't exist anymore. I went on an interview once and the guy was like, I'm looking at your resume and I don't recognize any of these companies. I never heard of them before. And what I wanted to say was, no offense, I never heard of your company before either. But here we are. So what are we going to do?
All the New York came out of you right there. Hey, no offense, but
not for nothing. I never heard of you.
Not for nothing.
Yeah. So, Will was saying he's basically one of those people who was on the downturn in 2008 and obviously figured out how to make another way. I don't believe the podcast was his idea. I think it was Felix's. And he was like, okay, well, I don't have anything to do. Let's do this. But you see the guy who read this article, Jacob with K, he's not that guy. He wants to do it the traditional way where he thinks a mediocre white guy could make a really good living. And he doesn't understand that, like, that way is gone, man. It doesn't exist for so many people.
In so many fields.
So many fields, man. People got rocked.
Like when you look at the top streamers, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, pick anything.
Anything.
A lot of them are white.
They absolutely are.
And male and millennial.
I mean, all right. So they say, when you look into YouTube and stuff, and the top streamers, the top accounts, they're usually white. And one of the reasons is, as you said before, people want to see themselves reflected. But in order to get onto YouTube, you need a certain amount of money anyway. The platform is free, but you need maybe a nice camera and you need internet connection and you need this and that. If you're going to talk about your life, maybe you want to have a nice life. You want to have a nice house. You want to talk about your family. You want to have a nice family that you can afford. And these are the people who were getting so much traction and became like legacy accounts. He doesn't seem to want to cash in being a white guy in the bootstrapping, world. He wants traditional. He wants the dream that he had when he was a kid. He's kind of still a child. And the way he ended the article, I was so angry. I was so
I wish I could play you guys some of the messages Bert and I were sending back and forth to each other at that. And then I included Bill Cody in there, and then he was even more pissed. And then, like, I think maybe a week after I wrote the thing, Pascal goes, "You seen this bullshit?" That's why I'm so upset that he's not here. He's really angry. The whole thing is like, if you're defending this by saying, but you're using the term bootstrapping, and that's a bad word because you've been saying it's a bad word for years because the conservative and right wingers say it's a bad word. And I think that's a problem with language, and I think that's a problem with like demarcating lines that we see right now in everything being political. Kind of back to Anton Yeager, the era of hyperpolitics, where I can't even laugh at a joke by a comedian without finding out what side of the political spectrum is this person really on. Because if I'm laughing at this joke and I find out they hung out with Andrew Schultz, well, then now I'm laughing at Nazi humor, right?
Because he has a Nazi haircut.
He does have the Nazi fade.
He insists. He insists on the 1940s cut.
I mean, do you really want him with a Caesar? I mean, that's not the look for him.
I prefer that he look like what he is, so keep the Nazi haircut. How about that?
Sure. I mean, he is what he is, and I think people are pushed in other directions by the sway of changing audiences. Andrew Dice Clay, when I was growing up, was like the biggest comic in the world, and he told extremely vulgar jokes. But I was 12. And hearing someone, "Old Mother Hubbard, I fucked up." Like, that's all I needed. Like, dickory, dock, and cock. Right? Like,
I used to think he was funny too, and I remember playing one of his specials as well as one of the old Eddie Murphy specials with a friend, and we were like in our 20s, I think, late 20s, and it was not funny. But because I had hyped it up, like, yo, you gotta watch this, I had to fake laugh at a lot of jokes that I didn't want to laugh at. The Eddie Murphy special that we watched was the one where he talks about when he was young, all he could do is make jokes about poop.
that was hilarious.
Swear to God, the only part that held up was the part about the poop. That was
what?
Everything else, I was like, ooh.
That's raw. That's Eddie Murphy raw.
That was raw. Yeah, I was like,
phone.
ooh, that's
You
not.
ever take a shit and that water splash up on your ass?
That's the best part, man. We can all relate.
What does that chunk want? Look, we're not going to stand for the blasphemous tones of one Margaret Toussaint.
Well, look, to get back on topic. your boy Jacob is.
But I want to say something about bootstrapping. But
okay. Okay.
If you do want to do something in the creative world, you do have to have a certain amount of discipline. If you want to be a serious writer, if you want to be a serious actor or filmmaker, you're probably working another job. And that means that you have to dedicate so much of your probably very limited free time to locking in, as the young people say, which I think is one of the most apt new slang phrases, because we are there's so many distractions that we have. So truly locking in and dedicating time to, I'm just going to write for 4 hours. I'm going to read for so many hours. I'm going to write for so many hours. And I'm going to get this book done. I'm going to get this script done. I'm going to get this thing done. You do have to work hard to do those things. I watched a great interview with Robert Townsend, who I think is a very underrated, brilliant filmmaker. And he was talking about, he was thankful for all the jobs he had while he was trying to, quote unquote, make it in Hollywood, because those jobs allowed him to be around so many different types of people that he never would have been around, that he got to create different characters.
Right.
So to say like, well, you can't say this word because this word is a bad word because you've deemed it a bad word. Context matters, and words don't exist in vacuums. So in the context of being in a creative industry, if I'm not around someone that is trying to work very hard and locking in, then I'm with someone that's just not very serious.
Yeah, he didn't seem like a very serious person. I mean, he seemed like focused enough to say, this is what I want to do and this is what I want to pursue. But years ago, I used to listen to the Penn and Teller radio show.
Yeah.
And one of the things Penn said was that when he was younger, and this is the advice he gives to young people all the time, if there's something that you want to do, you need to go do it. Go be in that industry. Go sweep up the buttons, basically. Like, don't go get a job at Toys R Us. Go be an intern or whatever the lowest rung is, some kind of assistant in the field that you want to be. So he was like, I was doing magic since I was a kid. This is what I wanted to pursue. I wanted to be in entertainment, and that is where I went. You will find your opportunities there. This guy he's not willing. Did he do an internship anywhere? Like, what? Internships are not what they used to be.
But he doesn't say. And yeah, it just kind of, well, I'm here and I did the thing. And it's like, well, why? Again, you want to get into the legacy media. Anytime you want to get in a certain way, why do you think that there's not a process? And you don't know anyone.
You don't know anyone. Well, real quick, Dusty said that's complete BS. There's no magician internships. Fair enough. Perhaps I misquoted him. But this guy, I think he thought there was going to be like white guy solidarity, and which this is why he may feel so betrayed by Gen X white guys and wanted to single them out. One thing I thought was interesting, can we talk about the white women? He never assumed any white people solidarity with the white women. He's like, they got their own thing. He thought he was going to get in with white dudes looking at him and saying, you're one of us. And he got very upset when they did not do that. One of us. I mean, it's like the white women are just for like making the children that you want to bring to the set and look at you like you're amazing.
Just be the hot arm candy.
That's what you're for. You're not supposed to compete with me. What?
We'll let a few of you broads make movies, but come on, let's be serious here, guys. Get back in the kitchen. It was not about the white women. And also the whole thing, I think it was JG Michael that said this, and I love JG because JG is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right? And JG said, I don't think most people, especially white people, are sitting around thinking about lost opportunities. Motherfuckers are too busy trying to live. And I do mention that in my response as well, like, because you have to ask the question, like, who is this for? And again, I think this was kind of a soft way to write a reverse racism article. Again, something that we got so much of. The Atlantic was so happy to publish any person of color's lament for similar things. And the purpose of publishing this and giving it such light is to say, well, weren't you people saying this a few years ago so much? Isn't this why you got your own section on Netflix? Isn't this why we let you people win those Oscars?
He mentions the Oscars too. I think it's so interesting. It's like he acknowledges racism, but eventually, like all the way towards the end. But then the whole thing is about reverse racism. And at some point, he sort of acknowledges that that's kind of wrong too, but he still wants it. He still wants to be an exception.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing where it's like he wants to be an exception without being exceptional is infuriating.
We're not talking about like, why are white guys locked out of manufacturing work?
Yeah.
Because those people don't exist. That's in the center of the country, and we don't really care about those people. We're talking about why am I, a self-proclaimed upper middle class person, not allowed to do upper middle class things?
As Dusty says here, he wants white boy magic. Super Mario with the star.
New term.
White boy magic. That is not just a new term; it's a new T-shirt. That's what.
Fuck, white boy. Ah, you're on to something.
Let's do it. Even I'll wear it. Even I'll wear it. Conversation starter. What?
White boy magic literally is Compact magazine.
Ooh. Oh. Somebody called it compact slop.
It's unheard to a certain degree. It's a lot of white boy magic.
Oh, I love this.
It's that ultimately is what it is, right? In my divine, why can't I, by the grace of God, have my script about a fucking Seth Rogen rom-com with Blake Lively get greenlit?
I'm amazed at at what's greenlit. What makes the cut? How does Adam Sandler get to keep making movies, even if they flop?
That gravy train got cut off after that Netflix flop.
It's been sitting through a lot of things. I just saw a video where Method Man was talking about how he's a glam metal fan.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. And he was saying because, well, I guess what people don't realize is when you would watch MTV in the early days, you would have to sit through a lot of white people making music and watching their videos before you would get to any black people. In fact, the Yo MTV Raps used to be at like midnight. So you have a whole day to watch white people making music. And you'll find your favorites. And some of it was really good and some of it was great. And he's still a fan. Yeah, I don't remember why I brought that up, but that seems like an experience that's like totally out of the purview of this guy, Jacob. I also want to bring up, I like that you framed this as a letter to him.
Yeah.
I think that made it a lot more personal, especially when you decided to son him. Father to father, you were like, I have more kids than you. I've been a father longer. I'm older than you. I know what this is. You don't. Simmer down. Let me explain this to you. You took out the whiteboard and you let him know about himself. I thought that was really good. In fact, the whole thing, like overall, I was very like, I've been watching this podcaster and picking up his language. His name is Themis. I was just like, period, girl, tell him. Because what do you mean? Yeah. I absolutely felt like that. And I wanted to do the little thing that people do now where they tap their the tip of their index finger to their thumb. Yeah, I want to do that. Slay King Jason. Go ahead. Jesus. It was all of that.
I'm gonna get teased so bad.
3 finger snaps in a circle. You did it.
It was personal to me at the end because the end part where he makes the line, what am I going to tell my son when they want to live their dream? Which again, I think this was echoed in a lot of pieces we saw from certain stratums of upper middle class black people that were saying the same thing that were also mediocre. And And it just brought me back to trying to carve out a space for myself in the music world and what that costs me from a friendship standpoint, from a familial standpoint, the amount of birthdays and funerals that I missed over the years. It's like, oh, your grandfather died. Well, I'm in St. Louis. Okay, well, just letting you know.
Yeah.
So and so died. Okay. Another birthday missed. Okay. We'll do something when I get back. And you do it. You give yourself all the reasons in the world why you do it. And then ultimately you have to ask yourself, am I doing it for a Jacob Savage reason? Am I frustrated because I'm not successful, or am I frustrated because I'm not famous? And those two things aren't the same. And that's a very uncomfortable conversation to have with yourself. And I had to have that with myself at one point in time, because right before the end of 2016, my ex and I, where I did most of my touring with a band called La Fin Absolute du Monde. And that's where I got most of like my media recognition and stuff like that in that band. Because some say we created a genre, and I don't know what that means, or do I care? But we had planned a Southeast Asian tour, and we had recorded 2 records. And we had toured that year 4.5 months straight. Like, we left and didn't come back for 4.5 months. Literally bought a vehicle with one that died out, and kept going. We kept going. Our booking agent at the time, who you met, TJ, we'd be done with a leg, and he goes, well, in 2 days, I got another show for you in New York. Can you make it? Where are you guys, Boise? Yeah, it'll take you 2 days. I got a show for you in Brooklyn. So we went, and it was like, oh, we got dates for you in Mexico. Come down to Mexico City. We went. Oh, we got more dates for you in all over Canada. Come over here. We went. And it burnt out the woman that I was in love with at the time, to the point where she was questioning a lot of life decisions that she had made, because life is still happening while you're doing this stuff.
Facts.
And she felt like, okay, I'll do this one more year, and then maybe we'll get serious about having it. I'll do this one more year, maybe we'll get serious about doing it. I'll get more than more. And then you turn around and you're almost 40.
Yes.
And she just had a panic, and we had booked. We had just finished recording a record that we were really proud of, and we booked a Southeast Asian tour. And in my mind, I was like, we can stop, because I think we've done enough. But I wasn't vocal about it. And then so she had left, and I was devastated. She just took off. I came home and everything was gone. And she just like, no note, nothing, right? And then that thing just ended. And I was forced to really figure out who I was as a person. Like, am I Jason the musician, or am I Jason the dad? And that was an uncomfortable question to ask myself. And if I'm Jason the dad, then what the fuck kind of dad am I? Because to take this seriously, everything in my life had to be secondary. My parents' well-being, my children's well-being, everything had to be, my loved ones' well-being. It was all secondary to the goal of quote unquote making it. And all while I'm trying to make it, I didn't realize, I guess I made it. I'm paying my bills off this music thing. All the people that I dig in the industry dig what I do. All these fucking big time blogs acknowledge me. I got chosen to go on tour with this big time dude in our field. I guess I made it, if that's what making it is. Right. And then you got to look at, but I don't want to be Jason the musician. I want to be Jason the dad. Those kids are everything to me, right? So that's why I end it with like, well, what do you tell your kids? I don't know. You tell them that this fucking shit is hard and you're not guaranteed a spot. And I don't know enough famous people to get you a gig.
Right.
You know what I mean? You tell them to be decent individuals, because if you have to look at your child and say, what am I going to tell my kid if they dare to dream? That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I don't give a fuck if my kid works at oil changers. They're not failures to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like, well, if your kids don't excel to this super higher echelon, then they're failures. It's like, no, my kids are contributing members to society that are decent people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all you ask for from them. They're good friends. They're good boyfriends and girlfriends. And hopefully one day, if that's what they want to do, they're decent parents. That's all you really want from them. I don't give a fuck about if they're famous pianists.
Right.
You know, and that I thought it's something important that you have to say in these types of pieces, that, you know, if you want to jet set, ask Rob Reiner what it got him, but you can't. Right. And I'm not saying Rob Reiner's a bad guy.
Right.
I'm just saying that even with all of his access, even when his son's coming out of a drug addiction, he's like, oh, you wrote a script, son? Get you a movie made. It still didn't stop what happened to him. We had a show with a man named Richard Boothby, a very well-to-do psychologist whose son committed suicide. Mm-hmm. He wrote a book about that. And, you know, it's not always as simple as, well, I didn't have money, ergo, that's why. Like, no, sometimes people with it, because your goals are, you're so focused on the things, sometimes you don't see anything around you because you have to get to whatever the magical mountaintop is for you. And those goals are going to constantly shift.
Mm-hmm. What about the journey?
Yeah. Yeah.
On a less serious note, because I'm here. Weird Solowski says, I auditioned for Malcolm X.
No shit.
Woke took that role from me. I think that's important.
Whoa, I'm looking for that comment. Right?
It was at 117. It's all the way up. I saved it. And I wanted to talk about that. There was an episode of Glee where, I forget her name, but Kristen Chenoweth, I think, famous Broadway actress, was guest starring. So she did her thing with the Glee kids, and then she was leaving town. And they were like, "Oh, what are you gonna do when you leave?" And she was like, "I'm gonna start an all-white version of The Wiz." And that joint made me laugh so hard. It was so hard. This dude, he don't even want to be in an all-white version of The Wiz.
All-white version. It's like The Wiz, but white, but black.
Exactly.
What's The Wiz? No.
So it's The Wizard of Oz? No.
That was a joke on that show, Astronomy Club, which sadly did not hit with the audience that it was intended to hit with. But they're just brainstorming TV show ideas. And they're like, it's like Full House, but black. It's like Family Matters, but black.
Ooh.
They were just naming all.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So stupid.
I couldn't fucking stop laughing when they did that shit, dude.
That's funny.
It's like The Wiz.
Well, let me go back to what you said about his kids, because that is how he ends his essay. I feel like this guy is so ego driven and so into being a white male. He mentions two sons. He probably has daughters, but he doesn't want to bring them to the film set to show how amazing he is to his kids. He's concerned with what he's going to tell his white male sons, and contrast that with how you ended your after he says the thing about his sons, he talks about sitting at home working on spreadsheets because what he's a scalper.
He's a ticket scalper.
He's a ticket scalper, and this is how he ends the essay. And this extremely long, whiny, pissy essay ends with that. And I wanted to take my laptop and throw it through the wall. I was so angry, and I was like, why did Jason do this to me? And then I read Jason's essay. Even in the first couple of lines, I was like, period, girl, because what do you mean? Like, it made it worthwhile. So if you haven't read Jason's essay, it makes reading the first essay totally worthwhile. Good job.
I do link the essay in my piece too. So
yeah, well done. This guy, let's see, I'm going back to my notes.
Sorry.
He even goes into talking about immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
He's jealous of immigrants, but then he goes into this whole thing about white immigrants who don't get listed as white. I guess they're like other in terms of the statistics, which does sort of highlight this American obsession with race and categorizing people. Mm-hmm. But he's also jealous of white male immigrants too. He's jealous of everybody.
Well, because there's this moment, right? Again, I think he's stuck when Ta-Nehisi Coates writes A Case for Reparations. It was like, no, not this time. We are not giving them a thing, man.
Yeah, I know.
My dad worked real hard to get me in that segregated community.
And I want my slaves back.
It felt like I was robbed of my opportunity to tell a black man to go fetch me my bags.
It does feel that way. When I walk into an elevator, I want to tell a black man what floor I'm going to.
Yeah, what do you mean I have to look him in the eye with respect? I'm a 5'7" mediocre man. I do not want to look at a 6'1" black man with fear that he may fuck my wife.
Ooh, cuck chair.
Yeah. You're not putting me in the cuck chair, Nicholas.
Nice. I've been coming across a lot of information about quote unquote useless males.
I love it. Keep going. Preach.
Yeah, how this plays into the quote unquote male loneliness epidemic. That right now, especially since a generation like the millennials has not really engaged in war in large numbers like we did in the past. This used to be one of the ways elites would get rid of large numbers of excess males, useless males. Because when you have a lot of dudes without a lot of prospects, they start to get violent and they become a problem for society, for the elites. I mean, also for the women, but the women aren't calling for, drastic things like, kill them all, send them all to some kind of war. But yeah, there's an absence of the war. There's a lot of dudes and trying to figure out like what to do with them. And I saw in the comments of one of those videos, this woman, she's like, I'm from Europe, and for a long time, Europe has struggled with what to do with the second and third sons. What do we do? Because the first is the heir, the second is the spare. So Prince William is the heir, and Prince Harry is the spare. You put him in case something happens to the heir. But then you're the third son. You're the extra spare. You're the backup spare. What the hell are we going to do with you? You're also not going to inherit anything, let alone the crown. So what are we going to do? I kind of wondered if this guy was a second or third son.
Ooh, interesting.
It made me wonder, because there's this thing about mediocrity hovering over this, and I wondered if there was a feeling of like uselessness also. Like, why is he so rigid in his thinking that there's only one thing he could do, and everything else is just refuse? I don't know.
I find it, again, I think we could go back and look at articles probably back to the 90s when you said 99, of people saying things like, you made the Biggie comment, I sold drugs to feed my daughter.
Yeah.
And that's what the ticket scalping is. Like, I scalp tickets to feed my family. It's like, you've been very successful at it.
Yes.
That's your only job, because there's a lot of capital that goes into ticket scalping to buy them up day things get announced so you can scalp these tickets. I don't know if you're some sort of weird middleman, if you work for a bigger company. We really don't know, right? But the fact that you feel so comfortable working in what I would think is a bit of a nefarious industry, especially if we look at this thing that you're trying to protect, the arts. And if you want to look at the arts and ask yourself why people are locked out, the first thing is price. Right? And then you want to work as a ticket scalper, which is kind of the problem that we're having with these massive promotions companies. We did an interview with a pretty well-known music manager. I can't remember Randy's last name. But anyway, it's up. And he talked about, well, who's really making the money behind the scenes? Because everyone thinks it's going to the artist. It's not. That's why they're complaining about the high cost of everything. All these fees that you're paying are going somewhere. Sometimes it's the house or the promoter.
The house always.
If the house is owned by the promotion company, there's a reason why all those big promoters started buying smaller spaces. You control music from the very small space all the way to the massive festival arena.
Facts.
That's a monopoly on this thing that we thought is organic. And this guy wants to work for the machine? Like, come on, man.
So much going on here. First, I just want to say David Gonzalez said, "It was all a dream. I used to read Compact magazine." Fantastic comment. Then we have Steve, who says, "I also think white men saying the arts are gay for the last 30 years might have an impact." Maybe. I mean, so the Jacobs article has like 4 parts or 5 parts, and each one has a different white dude with a different field that they have a grievance about being a white guy in. And one of them, I think when he got to the writer, the guy was saying, I consider myself an, he didn't say effeminate, but something like that, a nerdy white guy. And I was like, you know what? You're right. This dude probably lives on Reddit. He probably, actuallys all the time in meetings. He thinks of himself as like this kind of like, not super masculine, nerdy white dude. And he's probably like super hyper aggressive in all of his conversations with people. This is a person. This is a debater. He's a nerd jouster.
He's only got 2 articles, and both of them are this. It's the Lost Generations, and another one is like what happened to like white writers.
Really?
Yeah.
He's the white guy whisperer. Can I?
White boy magic. Who is that? Dusty that coined that term?
Yes.
Like, shout out to Dusty.
White boy magic.
White boy
We
magic. Where's my moment? That's how I felt. I remember there was we were on Yo Gabba tour. There was this white girl that would tell us about this Twitter space. This hashtag was called White Girl Problems. And
mm,
people would screenshot white women tweeting about all their issues.
mm,
And we didn't think it was we thought she was making this up. And then she showed us. And it became a phrase that I still say. I wrote it in the piece.
mm.
She said, "This is the funniest thing I've ever read in my life." And we're like, "What is it?" She goes, "This white woman just tweeted, when am I going to have my moment?"
No.
And what's funny is, to a certain degree, because of the ubiquity of spy software, aka cell phone cameras, a lot of people get to have their moments. And all the when am I going to have my moment white women got to have their moments in meltdowns, to the point where there is a term used that I find mildly offensive: Karen. Right?
Karen is mildly offensive.
Yeah, like, oh, you're being a Karen, which means you're being a white woman that's acting out in a reactionary manner. You have a certain kind of haircut, but now the haircut thing is gone. You're just a white woman acting out. And I always, whenever I see those things, I just think of that tweet, like, oh, it's just someone trying to have their moment, right? You put the cameras on them, stupid. So now, of course, they're going to act out more because they're having their moment.
I call it the Emily in Paris syndrome.
Please preach. I want to hear more about this.
It used to be the Carrie Bradshaw. I was working with, because this is what they did in the movie. Now, she's got white friends in the show, but in the movie, they insert Jennifer Hudson to be some kind of assistant type person to Carrie Bradshaw. And she's got a smidgen of a plot line. She's got a smidgen of a life outside of Carrie. But there are a lot of white women who sort of have this idea that this is my show and you are a bit character, and I guess you have a life and feelings in 3 dimensions, but it's not really what we're doing right now. I think that's bigger than, I don't know, the Carrie thing, the Karen thing. I watched the Netflix documentary A Perfect Neighbor.
Oh, I haven't seen that. How'd you like it?
I really
saw the
like it.
trailer.
It's pretty powerful, actually. I mean, that's definitely a phenomenon. They don't want to
say what it's about real quick. Say what it's about real quick.
It's about a white woman who lives in a mixed neighborhood, actually. And she's always complaining that the children in the neighborhood are on her lawn. Come to find out in the documentary, everybody there's renting. It's not really her lawn. Anyway. But she's always complaining and calling the police every time these kids are on her lawn or playing around her lawn. And then it just escalates more and more and more. She's just a very hostile force in the neighborhood. And there's a real colonizer spirit to her, even though she's renting, just like everybody else there.
Colonizing in what way? She's just white, or
she's
in the true sense of the word colonizer, kind of the euphemism that it's a white woman being bossy?
No, colonizer in the classic sense. Like she came, she put a flag down and was like, this is mine. I don't own this, but this is mine now. You were here before, but
like, she put the flag in their yard though.
I mean, she put it on her yard, but it's still not her yard, kind of thing, you know. And all the kids, they just play in the neighborhood, and you know, some of the parents are like, well, you know, stay away from that lady. You can play in my yard instead. Everybody's really kind of open, but she's very closed. She comes there and she kind of wants the neighborhood to change to be like what she wants it to be like. Yeah, it's really kind of sad because it's not just a black neighborhood. It's all kinds of people just like getting along and having fun with each other. Literal children just playing, and she is just like, not on my watch.
We had a woman like that was an older white woman where I lived in Richmond, California, on 25th Street, and we had a multi-ethnic group of kids. Again, I'm from the Bay, not just California. And that woman called the police on us a fair share of time. And the police never did anything because we were between the ages of 9 and probably 13 when we were really just always on our block, just playing. And we were loud. We were vulgar. Another thing I wrote, but Stranger Things, was those kids aren't vulgar. Like, why are unsupervised kids so not vulgar? Especially because they suffered all that trauma. And she had a daughter that was our age who kind of got the brunt of our bullying. I'll say bullying. I wasn't a perfect young person because her mom was a bit of a bully. Her mom would yell and curse us out. And there was a few kids on the block that had older siblings that were like teens, like high school age. And so they were like our go-to if we got in trouble. Like, oh, Julie's mom said she was going to call the cops on us. It was too loud. She's like, tell that bitch I said fuck right off. I'll tell that hoe right now. And it's like, and then throwing shit at this woman so that we feel okay to throw shit at the woman. Like, we were kind of shitty kids. And again, we were really loud. And now as an adult man that has children and I've had wives and lived in a community with loud kids, I've told people to stop doing something stupid. These kids, when I was with my son's mom, depending on where you live, the 4th of July starts in May and ends in October. And then starts back up again for December for New Year's. And it is a frustrating series of never-ending explosions with actual gunfire sprinkled in here and there.
Facts.
And our son, when he was a toddler, was very sensitive to these very unsettling explosions because these kids they had M80s and shit. So it was loud. And there was a church across the street. And one night they wouldn't stop with the big fucking fireworks. And it was late. And then my son's mom also had a dog, and the dog's going crazy. And I was like, you know what? Fuck these kids. I didn't have shoes on. I walked across the street. And one kid tried to point a bottle rocket at me like a gun.
Yikes.
And I was ready to violate that kid with that.
No.
It was going to be a bad look. And they're all like older teens. And I was like, look, there's people here that are elderly and they have animals that are going crazy when you do this. Like, fuck you, nigga. You faggot ass nigga. I was like, you're not going to do anything about it. Shut up. So it was like, why don't you tough guys go to places where you can light these things off?
True.
Because there's literally places within this 58 square mile city that you can go light these fireworks off and you're not going to bother people in the same way. But I think you guys are scared to do it because you're a bunch of punks.
Ooh.
And then,
they're just
that's like my old man. That's like my old man moment.
Bunch of punks.
Niggas ain't gonna do shit. I don't have a weapon either. It was like I came there with a gun. Those kids probably could have fucked me up. And that's my whole thing was like, once I got there and I saw that it was like 15 kids, I was like, I have to start beating on the biggest one to scare the little ones away from trying to hit me.
Yo, scared the little.
So I already had a plan. I had a plan of escape.
Oh my God.
Because you never want to get your ass kicked by 10 fucking teenagers.
That's true. It can happen. It's always chain snatching season. Anybody can catch it.
Anybody? I was so mad. My son was crying and other people's dogs were barking. I was like, man, fuck these kids. Wow. But the kids did stop.
That's what's important. I'll say this about the Karens. I saw this black woman. She wrote a tweet about how calling white women Karens has gotten a lot of white women shook to speak up when something actually is wrong. And I was like, are you caping for white women a little bit? And I started to see it. I was working in customer service, and this white woman was like, this I didn't even get what I paid for, and it wasn't very good, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, do you want a refund? And she was like, can I have a refund? And I'm like, girl, it's your money, not mine. You should get it back. Like, they be like, really? So the ones who were already, I guess, sort of that way, like, kind of timid or meek, or just like not all about the ego or whatever and confrontation, they went underground like even more. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think the camera changes a lot. We have to be honest about that. But back to the original point of like having
trash and Jacob.
It really the whole thing is, when am I going to have my moment?
When am I going to get to go to parents?
Yeah. Because here's the reality of being dude is you write this thing that is very divisive, and now your liberal friends are calling you, and there's an interview with him after he wrote the first thing in a small Substack blog. He doesn't do a lot of press, and he's like, people think I'm a right winger, and I'm not. And if you read the thing, again, the hyper political way in which we see everything is really hurting the overall analysis for people like this and pieces like this and how they're used. I think there's something there, but I think he's complaining about a time that's passed, about industries that are in decline. I mean, I cite those numbers in the piece, like legacy media, print media is declining. Those newsrooms have been shrinking for some time. Education is changing drastically, especially with the second Trump administration. And as I said before, and I'll keep saying, as we said on this show, Daniel Bessner wrote a whole piece about Hollywood. Streaming killed the goose with the golden egg, and COVID really changed the way we interact and how we do movies. And this ignores any of the historical significances of why these industries that he's trying to break into at the time he's trying to break into them are changing, because he doesn't care. So then all you're going to see is DEI hires and liberal white men. So if you work at job X and you can't get ahead, but Ladarius just got a promotion. Or no, not even Ladarius. Tasha. Tasha, big ass, that's always gossiping, got a promotion.
She always gossiping.
What the fuck? And we're seeing people really, really frustrated, right? Even in fast food, there's been multiple killings of managers of McDonald's. Over hours and treatment. So there's something there, but a lot of it's being ignored because of the race thing. And if you're just ignoring it for the race thing, then you're letting the ambiguity do tons of heavy lifting, and he's allowing that to happen as well, because then he gets what he wants, which is his moment. But at best, he probably made $600 for that article. Let's just say, because it's so long, he made $1,000. I'd be surprised if he did, but let's just say he did. Like, that's not a lot of money. You got 2 kids. That's not daycare for the month.
It's not even close.
So
I seen the white lady saying she spent $1,800 for her grocery bill.
It did, depending on the age of the kids, the needs of those children. So, that moment in the sun does a lot of heavy lifting for other people that have bigger agendas, and when you don't care because you just want to have your moment, then that also kind of plays into why I don't dig dude.
Yeah.
And again, he didn't want to do a lot of speaking out. He let other editors speak out on his behalf. There's a cowardice there, I feel like.
Yes. And a passivity that drives me insane. These people are infuriating. So quick question. I wondered, another ghost that was hanging over this was Daniel Bessner. Does he count as a Jewish man or a white man?
He's pretty white.
He's pretty white, and he's killing it. I would love to have his career. Didn't he have a kid that was born on the 4th of July? Fantastic.
He does have a child.
What's messing with that? I love it. Why can't you do what he's well, then again, I would say also, I do find Daniel Bessner to be extraordinary. He's not ordinary. He's not.
Because you have to kind of bear down.
Yeah, you do.
You have to do all the things. A lot of work went into that article, whether I like it or not. I can't deny the fact that a fair amount of work went in. I think he really did talk to people over time. He gathered some data. The data was all over the place, though.
It was.
The data was all over the place.
He's trying to like Ben Shapiro you and like hit you over the head with numbers. Like, see, it's true. I'm impressive, and what I'm saying is impressive and true.
That's the mid part of it, as you young people say, mid. And I feel like this is, in the most literal sense of that term, very mid, because there's a lot of Googling, quick facts for confirmation bias. So the data is like, well, in 1984, 2015, and there's not a lot of talk of the current moment. And because ignoring the current moment really destroys the whole article, because you have to talk about a Hollywood where the studios are at, I think, less than 50% capacity. There's just not a lot of shooting going on. There's, again, I have that quote in there where it's like, you can have your quinceañera at a Hollywood studio at a cut rate right now. Another Hollywood studio just sold. The Gap just bought a studio so they can start doing production for their products. So there's a changing ecosystem in the creative world, and none of the changing is mentioned because of the way that people are getting their information. There was a time when bands like Steely Dan had 4 different drummers play on one song so they could cut up the track, cut it with a knife and tape, and have the perfect drum take. That sounds insane now, because you would never do that because there's just software. And it's an easy process that takes a minute fraction of the time to get the same type of quote unquote drum take. And I say all that to say that the effort that was put into those records to make, let's just say, great art or good music is different now, because there's a different way that we were consuming music, and it was visual. And once the visual component comes in, well, now there's more time put into the visuals. So fast forward to a guy like Donald Glover, who doesn't release a lot of music anymore, but when he does, it feels like an art project.
Yeah.
Because that's how we take in a lot of music. We see it. If it's really good, we're going to see it. So just the world is changing, and how you do things changes as well. And this was really entrenched in like, no.
Yes.
I deserve my moment in the sun, and I deserve to send my kids to the same school as all these other powerful people. And I want to sit next to Chevy Chase and go, you're a real asshole. And then, tell everybody about it.
You want to be at the director studio, the actor studio, talking to that old dude. James Lipton, is that his name?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a movie that we watched on movie night some time ago before we were recording them called Hits. David Cross made it, and some of the stuff is kind of dated because it came out in 2014. But the theme of the movie is this young girl that is kind of like Jacob Savage in that she imagines herself famous and she listens to famous people doing interviews, and then she dreams out loud of her moment to be sitting across from Ellen on the couch and talking about her life and her upbringing. She doesn't have any discernible talent, but she's a good person. And she's like, but I'm nice. And why can't I be famous? And everyone around her is getting fame. I'm using finger quotations saying fame, more infamy for being idiots. A guy that likes her does this rap song for her, and he gets pantsed and punched in the nuts, and that video goes viral. Her father is a crazy reactionary that loses it at town hall meetings, and all these hipster people from Williamsburg come in and they're going to make content around him to propel him as their spokesperson for change. And she's like, my dad is a fucking right-wing weirdo. Like, stop putting the camera in his face. But I'm the good person. Why can't I be famous? And it concludes with her going to one of her dad's town hall meetings that he complains at with all these white people, and her dad yells out, the problem is niggers. And all these, they're like, because right? And then she comes out with a shotgun and she's like, I'm gonna sing this song and you all are gonna listen, and I'm gonna record it on this camera phone. And then she gets her ass beat by a cop. He literally punches her in the face, and she gets to be on the news.
That's what's up.
And she gets her moment.
She gets to be Emily in Paris.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say this about that. I wrote this in my notes. So this is from the article. He says, which raises some uncomfortable questions. Is the media more trusted now than a decade ago? Is Hollywood making better films and television? Is academia more respected? Have these institutions become stronger since they systematically excluded an entire cohort? Or did abandoning meritocracy accelerate their decline? So he goes from most of the article not talking about the consequences, what he feels the consequences are of letting in all these other people who are not white men. Until eventually he comes here and he says it. My notes say extraordinarily passive, turning right wing, taken lightly. At some point he mentions some guy. The guy who was saying this has biracial kids. And he made sure to put that in the essay.
Biracial.
Yeah. And it's like, you know what? That doesn't like absolve you of saying all these things. And he doesn't even bother to say them. He just puts questions out there. And I can't stand that. He mentions going the Josh Hawley route. So I guess Josh Hawley used to be a liberal and now is right wing or something. And he puts it out there as a threat. You wouldn't want me to do that now, would you?
Like, he already did it.
Dude, he does not know.
You already did it.
You're already there, my friend.
Yeah. I'd have been a success if it wasn't for these nigger bitches.
Damn.
You know? And with hard R, just like that, right? Issa Rae took my shine. Ava DuVernay took my shine.
I mean, how different is he from some dude who writes a manifesto and shoots up a joint? Like, this grievance really calcifies. Okay.
Can you read that?
Bad Lefty says, when someone says, I got biracial kids, you know something
Oh
hella
my
racist is
God, you
about to
know,
come from his cracker
just
mouth.
just duck. When, when someone says I have virus, shots fired. We coming for you, nigga. That's all I hear.
No, do you saw that town with the all white people? And then all of these racist white dudes were like, well, I need to bring my Latina girlfriend. And they're like, no, it's only white people. And they're like, but why?
The worst. Do you know who the worst of that is? Do you remember that guy Metzger? Something Metzger. I can't. Is it
Oh,
Adam? Something
mm,
Metzger. Jacob. Can't remember his name. But he was a big white supremacist in the Geraldo days.
mm,
Super Nazi when we were saying neo-Nazi in the 90s.
mhm,
He ended up moving down here to Mexico.
mm.
Yeah, you've heard what I said. He
Yeah.
moved down here to Mexico. I don't know if he died in Tijuana, but he did live here with his Mexican wife.
Chat says Kurt, not Kurt.
Jason, you're Van Jones if you didn't become a cable news talking head and laughing my ass off.
Jason is brown skin Joe Buttons.
Well, you know what's funny about Van Jones? Teray Reed brought something to my attention with Van Jones. He sent me a video of Van Jones when he had hair, when he knew people that come on this show, like Sora and Dylan Rodriguez, when they were interacting with Van Jones. And he's got this super fiery rhetoric. And he's going off about the wages of capitalism's sins. And Teray is like, I'm not focusing so much on the message and the change because the video was juxtaposed to him now.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what I'm focused on is the fact that people forget that there's a moment, and we still kind of live in that moment, where fiery rhetoric, regardless of how empty it is what we believe, what leadership looks like, and what protest looks like, and what resistance looks like. And it never looks like spreadsheets and phone calls and organizational management flowcharts.
Taking minutes at a meeting.
Yeah. And the problem with fiery rhetoric being the end all be all is when you actually have an organization. Let's take a nonprofit for housing, for example. And let's say your goal is to get the most vulnerable citizens in a municipality into housing. And let's even say that you're so good at raising money that you have a very large endowment and a good flow of donors that aren't threatened by this new Trump regime. And you're trying to do the right thing. You have nothing but good intentions. But you're ruled by a certain kind of liberal orthodoxy of anti-racism and intersectionality. There's probably going to be problems and flaws in that system. And if you have any friends that work in that world, they'll probably complain to you about that system, how it's so hard for things to get done. And if you look on the other side, these people understand systems. They understand a certain kind of bureaucracy. They understand order. And it's a steamroller. And that's problematic. And I don't think we talk about that enough, because we are so enamored by the fiery rhetoric, because we've been taught for so long that, well, this is what freed the slaves. This is what got us rights. It's these speeches.
That's very interesting, because I thought you were making kind of like an Adorno and Horkheimer kind of argument, like the fiery speeches feed well into media and cameras, and that's kind of how this sort of happened. But no, Frederick Douglass was making some speeches before talkie films. So you're right. Flaming, soaring rhetoric. We've always been suckers for that. Maybe it's like being children of the Enlightenment and like post French Revolution kind of stuff. Rousseau, like that all factored into the founding of this country. This was all happening around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's a uniquely American, but
I don't think it's uniquely American, but my whole premise for wanting to do kayfabe was watching back-to-back appearances of Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, and in my mind thinking, I want to make a video project where I show the rise of these two people, cable news and wrestling, and how they don't hit the same way if they don't have these ethnic accents, because we create characters. We love characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump doesn't hit the same way if he doesn't have that Queens about him. Bernie Sanders doesn't hit the same way if he doesn't have that Brooklyn about him. And they're older at this point in their lives.
Yeah.
So it's really like this angry grandpa thing for both of them. And in that, we find a certain bit of authenticity. And that's what people are really hungry for, especially now, is authenticity. There was a moment, and I'm finishing up this thing about it, where recently, last weekend, it was wild card weekend in football, and the Jacksonville Jaguars lost in a heartbreaking fashion to the Buffalo Bills at home. And there was an older woman who worked for the Jacksonville Free Press, small newspaper that no one reads. And she had a credential, and she got an opportunity to say something, and everyone's peppering the coach with all the, what happened here? What about this? Why did you do that? And this woman goes, Coach, thank you for a great season. Keep your head up. 13-4 is nothing to be ashamed about. You did good out there. We love you.
Oh.
The media was furious.
Oh.
Take this bitch's credentials away. Sure, it was a sweet moment, but fuck that. This is about objectivity, which is a problem because everybody's supposed to be fair and balanced, quote unquote. And there was a counter backlash. And even black people like Jamel Hill were shitting on this lady. Now she's gone and since apologized.
Wow.
But the backlash from the backlash was, why do you hate this woman for being kind? Because so many people that weren't sports journos were like, I don't care about objectivity. It's the fact that I saw, and the coach is crying when she says that to Sam.
Wow.
Because first of all, he doesn't expect it, and he's just shocked. So he's like, thank you, man. Thank you. And, everything about it is kind of a shitty Hollywood movie where you have this old black lady telling this young white guy that he did good.
Yeah. I see
So
that.
if you have mammy narratives, I'm sure some of that came out in the critique about her. But ultimately, it's a moment of authenticity where all we get is canned responses.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give a shit about sports journalism. You're talking about games. You're not that serious. But you do get to create narratives about people. That's part of why you got into journalism. Maybe you couldn't do it. You couldn't write the great fiction story. Maybe you failed chasing real news, but you can write about sports. Or maybe you just really like the myth of sports and you like creating or deflating said myths. But you are the person in control there, not the person at the podium speaking. It is you. And for that lady to go, thanks.
Yeah.
She's never done it before in her life. She'll probably never do it again.
I'm sure she won't do it
Right?
again.
But she saw a dejected person. She's older. So I think she's like 70 something. Right? That's the same way I am when I go into one of the places I eat at or coffee shops, and one of the people that waits on me all the time is looking sad. I'm like, hey, what's wrong? Don't be sad. You need a hug. Like, what's wrong? But it's this authenticity and how we view it that we crave. And for people to see a tender moment, someone not being a piece of shit for a second, the people that watched it were like, oh man, I love that. That was so awesome. Pat McAfee, the most unqualified quote unquote sports pundit, he's a former kicker that has a show because he tells it like it is. He has been campaigning for this lady as being kind of a really good person. These sports people should chill the fuck out. I agree with them to a certain degree there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason why people like Donald Trump. There's a reason why people like Bernie Sanders. There's a reason why people like Zoran Mandami. And they're all a little different. The allure to Zoran, he hits all the beats for a modern day leftist. He's a brown guy. He's highly educated. He speaks so well. He's so well spoken. He's very professional.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing that he does is things. He's getting things done. He's a steamroller, the same way I was talking about the unorganized left organizations. He is the antithesis of that.
Yes.
I bet he's difficult to work with.
Yeah.
I'm sure he tells people that's stupid.
I would love to be that person. I feel like maybe I need to start doing stuff like that.
Someone said McAfee was a punter, even more relevant. I'm sorry, I gave him more props than he should have gotten. But he functions a certain way. And then you have kind of Sanders and Trump, who are just, they're authenticity machines. Every time they speak, again, with those accents, with the passion in which they speak, it's like, yeah, fuck those libs. Yeah.
I think the accents are something that people suppress. And I think it's not just like, oh, we like characters or they're folksy or they're avuncular. It's also like they're not suppressing themselves to try to seem a certain way. I definitely had a sense growing up of this is how you act in the house and this is how you act at school.
Mm-hmm.
So probably a lot of people, putting on fronts out there. Mm-hmm. And these two guys seem like that's not what they're doing. They're not anchor people with no accent. They're from a place, and they have color to their personalities. That hasn't been suppressed either. Mm-hmm. Or beaten out of them by external forces. So
yeah. No, and it's something like, man, I wish I could do that. So I think all of this shit is important when we think about the grander picture, and especially like where we are today. Because I don't know if you feel the same way. It feels more and more like we're just living in the collapse. And as much as we want the collapse to be like falling ash and the old, this is a test. This is not a test.
Broadcast system.
Everything is collapsing. The nuclear bomb is coming. Yeah.
Where was that on 9/11? Huh?
There was a cartoon that came out in the 80s called Thundar the Barbarian, and it started in like the post-apocalyptic world. So there's this image of the Statue of Liberty sunken in the ocean. And I think that's how we want to view collapse, with all of our idols gone and the icons crushed, and we just live in the Liberty
on the beach.
Yeah. We live in the ashes. It's like dust. Like, it's been 5 years since the Great War. What happens when there is no Great War? And what happens if the Great War was fought in 1942? Oof. And now in 2026, it's just the decline. Yeah, go ahead.
What's interesting, I was watching a video, a feminist lady named Therese, and she was talking about how like the manosphere and useless males are very attracted to learning about Roman history. But a lot of the Roman history that they learn is wrong. They like to learn about the decline, but the narrative that they're given is that the Roman Empire uh, it failed. It stopped because of women. I was like, wait, what?
Like they bent over in front of him. Put that sword down. Did you see the dame?
I was gonna finish carving the statue, but ring a ding ding.
You see the gams on that one?
The way they're making these gowns lately. Yes.
What the fuck, man?
They say it's women who, brought about the decline of the Roman Empire. I guess the idea is that the women were getting more rights, and that just destroyed everything, which is weird. So she explains in actuality there were two Roman empires, there's the East and the West, and the East continue on for 1,000 years. Nobody talks about that. But when we talk about the West, there's a number of things that brought about the downfall of the, Roman Empire. And I think people still have an idea of it collapsing fast. The Tsar has stepped down. And now this is what we're doing now. And that's absolutely not how it happened. We are absolutely declining. And that's why I was interested in the Roman Empire and empires declining. But these guys have come up with a whole different narrative anyway. The decline is wild this time because it's like we are so distracted. I saw a video
again, Toussaint.
So
it's women again. I was trying to look up real video. This is the reality of the world we live in and why it's your vagina's fault. No one else's but yours. I saw a reel of like sad things happening, and then I saw a reel of a white woman with a large butt clapping it.
Wow.
Decline. Women.
I saw a video of a little boy. I guess he was a little white boy. You never know these days. He could have been Nick Fuentes. So the little boy was watching a short or like TikTok.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Playing Minecraft at the same time and going back and forth on two different screens. And all the kids can't read. And it's just like, one of the things I wanted to say about this man talking about, what do I tell my kids? My first thought was, your kids better be happy that they're even alive, because they ain't going to be much planet to be on. Your kid's going to have much bigger concerns than you. Turns out the smoke from these wildfires, far more dangerous than anybody knew.
But as long as he can take his kid to a shoot, as long as the smokestacks are blaring like Blade Runner, right? People are eating fucking Cisco slop that's really down to the Soylent Green at this point. So it's just, but he looks over at his kid with the gas mask on. Is like, son, you understand I did work so hard and missed all your birthdays, don't you? Because I wanted to make a movie. Like that's.
And they've already stopped, dropped, and rolled, and try to be below the smoke.
Lay low for the rebel fire. You'll be able to see before the government-sponsored private industry drones come and pick them out.
The eagle has landed. I repeat, the eagle has landed.
It's just DEI.
Yeah, man. I swear that's the whole reason why he had them kids. I swear.
Tell the kids to look at me again, honey.
We love you, Papa.
Ah, yes, my children. And then he has leashes. He has them on leashes.
He only has time for one pat on the head for each of them.
The kids are only there to hand him the remote.
I mean, that's what he wants. That's what he wants. And it's wild. I think it's wild in this country. There's no kings. We had a march about that, right? We had a war about that. Not we, but there was a war about that. And we have guns just in case the king comes, right? We're still doing that. But a lot of people in their mind, they have an idea of royalty.
Mm.
And they, I mean, some people say it's part of patriarchy. That's how a lot of men are socialized. And I heard a British man, more than one British man, say that in the United States, every man is a king and his castle is his home. So you're allowed to be a wackadoo tyrant in your house.
Archie Bunker.
And a lot of people really like that idea. They think it's fantastic. This idea about, royalty and just I am to be adored. This guy's very, very ego driven.
Very ego driven. That's scary that you said I am to be adored. That's really scary. That is, I think that's, again, part of the frightening thing about this is that this dude is letting this frustration do a lot of heavy lifting in negative directions that he claims. And I think there's a little bit of truth to it, because I say a little bit because I do believe that he doesn't want this to be used for nefarious purposes. But that's also one of those things where the drug dealer goes, they were going to get it anyway. And at least if they get it from me, it's a little different. And I keep telling myself that I'm taking the money and I'm doing good things with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But there is no money to take. So you can't even lie and say you're doing that. You got a little bit of money. You probably spend it on, your kids and I don't know, a picture of yourself.
Gigantic picture of yourself on a horse like Napoleon.
I literally have a mug of me.
You do. Look at you, ego driven. Emily in Paris over here.
I was gonna send it to you, but
Terrence got you.
I was afraid you wouldn't get the joke and just throw it out the window.
As New Yorkers are wont to do. Get this out of here. Just throwing stuff out the window.
It's got a podcast of baseball card mugs.
Another one?
Who was that chick over there? Va 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 voom. She could stop an empire, that girl.
Look at the pins on that one. Say, look at your vines.
The 70s were so powerful that throughout a certain part of the 80s, when black people weren't on movies, when they were talking like they were in the 70s.
So funny to me.
Say, Freddy Krueger, you jive turkey.
Why did they talk like that?
It's 1987. Nigga, I know what times it is. It's time for us to get this Freddy Krueger.
It's so wild.
Like, wait a minute, why are you talking like this, sir?
You sound like Michael from Good Times.
Why did you just fucking backspin back into the past?
It's true. Maybe it was old white guys writing that media, and they were like, "This is what black people sound like." In your 70s,
you make it sound a little blacker. I'm talking in my voice, and I'm pretty dark. No, you know what I mean.
You know how you're talking.
You know what we're looking for here.
People have told me that before. Like, I'm not a voiceover actress. I'm having a casual conversation, and they're like, why don't you just talk like how you really talk? You're in the corner with Chiquita. I'm like, what? And then I'll say, my parents are not even from this country, and they're like, yeah, but they don't like have accents. I'm like, what? Most people from other countries have access. What are you talking about? What do you want me to talk about? Talk like, I don't know, man.
Well, how did? Come on, man. Can you just shuck and jive? Come on, come on.
Just shook and jive.
Where's Regina King when you need her?
Ooh. Oh.
Now add Regina King and Amanda Seales to the list of people.
The people who is not coming on this show. No.
Who is the black women not coming on my show? Amanda Seales, Brandon Joy Gray, Regina King. Who else we got here? Hey. Kamala Harris. Okay, we got her covered. Does she count? Because she's a halvesy. Okay, erase her.
I'm looking at my notes again.
Mm-hmm.
And he says at one point, what was the justification? Yeah, for gutting the American meritocracy. No one seems to know. And I said, he assumes it was a meritocracy. Cute. What a weird conceptualization that it was a meritocracy when all the white men were like employed and on top and stuff. That's really how he sees things.
Mm-hmm.
He's already on the right.
He doesn't think so. I get it. There's not a lot of information about him, but he'll tell you like, no. But is this the post left that people talk about so much?
Maybe.
That's a good teacher. Do you feel that because the solutions are so like structural and never really individual, and talking to the individual is always ignored for talking about the structural changes, that does open up a door for the Jacob Savage laments a little bit?
Maybe on the left, what's left of the left, there is a lot of talk of structural things and not individual experiences. Because, I mean, we don't want to open the door to talking about microaggressions all the time. Mm-hmm. Snackweight in the chat says, what about Carmela Harris? That is a microaggression. Spell the name with a C. Carmela, like the lady from what's it show, Sopranos.
I need to send you this video that I was sent by some people that I will not name of Kamala Harris dancing in the White House.
No,
it is so awesome.
Is that AI?
It's totally AI. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Joe Rogan will believe it's real.
Oh, dude, that's another show talking about the reality of some of the AI shit.
I think he's interesting in terms of this argument. So his believers, his followers, are a lot of these aggrieved white men, but he isn't necessarily that. He very much believes in the system, but he's on top as far as he's concerned. And so he doesn't have that kind of grievance in him. He just really, really, really don't want to pay taxes. That is a major grievance for that man.
Or he wants to be able to be given the same sort of off ramps to not paying taxes that the elites,
super rich people get. Yeah.
You know, here's the thing that's uncomfortable to say. A lot of people want to be on Epstein Island, and they're upset that they weren't there.
You missed it, man. There was money everywhere. There was coke everywhere.
Yeah, there's a party that you weren't at, and everyone was there from fucking Castro to R. Kelly,
Ilhan Omar.
But she wasn't there. But seeing Chomsky on the plane, you're like, oh man, you know, a million hearts broke right there.
He's a syndicalist.
Just when they saw that, just all these glasses, you heard a bunch of people's glasses just. Why?
He's an anarchist. To hell with him.
But yeah, every when you have when you're at that level of being an elite
Mm-hmm.
and you're in those circles, that's what a lot of people want. That's what people suck dick for. That's what people talk about. There's an Illuminati. Like that's all that shit stems from, like being shut out and wanting to get to that place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that, again, that is really what this is all about. Like, I want to get to that place. I was denied getting to that place. And what denied me there is liberal white men and mediocre minorities. And what shocked me kind of was like, well, let's just think about some of the minorities that are making movies right now. I don't know if DEI played that big of a role in the success of Ryan Coogler, because if your movies are trash, then they probably don't make money.
Facts.
And
well,
if we think,
maybe.
well, if you think about
Adam Sandler's made a lot of money.
Well, he's an actor. He's not writing a lot of this stuff. But if we think about it from behind the scenes, because that was the whole cry for so long was, if we just had positive representation, then we'll get there. We'll end white supremacy. And then you got your positive representation. You got your Oscars. And it was, but who will write and tell these stories of Black people? Because no one wanted to give Steven Spielberg an Oscar for Color Purple, because that's a story of Black people and he didn't direct it, right? So then you get Black,
that, though.
Yeah, it was a good movie. But then you get Black people behind the camera and beyond Spike Lee, right? We're not just going to give you Spike Lee. And they're massively successful. And they're massively successful outside of the realm of just Black film, right? Black Panther is not a Black film in that same way that Coming to America is not a Black film. Right? I don't know if I can say the same thing about Sinners. Creed is not a Black film in the way that
I don't think Ryan Coogler films are like Black films.
They're not really. They're money making films based off established intellectual property that is multiracial.
Sinners isn't that, but it's also like,
well, Sinners isn't. Sinners isn't. That's why I said Sinners is kind of one of the small outlets. So is his first film, Fruitvale Station. But when you look at,
they're all like fantasy.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So they're not really Black. They're not like, they're fantasies.
Creed is about, again, working hard, and the same reason why we like Rocky, right? The training montage scenes of, you get knocked down, you get back up. He kept that theme, and it's the joke. What if we did Rocky but Black?
No.
I watched Creed like 3 times to fly to Brazil and play some shows and flying back. I tried to watch Aquaman. It was on the plane too. I was like, I can't get into this. I'm gonna watch Creed.
I can't take this underwater man.
Take this motherfucker out of here. But
we're talking to dolphins. Get out of here.
I don't know if I could look at his success and be like, well, you're taking the spot of somebody else because you're sitting here making these shit movies that nobody cares about. Like, he made some record-breaking films. To see white kids dressed up like Black Panther, for me, was kind of like, whoa, this really, really crossed over in a way that's even beyond my understanding, because, it's kind of like that 5 seconds of Stranger Things where they acknowledge race when the Black kid dressed up as a white person for Halloween in the Ghostbusters costume. And they're like, no. There's 4 of us. Like, the drill.
I wanted to be Egon.
Because Ernie Hudson's character, and this is no shade at Ernie Hudson, was supposed to be Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy turned the role down. And Ernie Hudson, who is a very good actor, he's not Eddie Murphy. No. And he's not young Eddie Murphy. So there's a bit of seriousness that role is, but at the end of the day, he could have been like, "This ghost out there, this big."
No. And then bug his eyes out.
We need everyone to know that you're here, but we're not going to take you that seriously. So can you?
Yeah, that is what it is, right? That really sucks. It sucks. I mean, for a long time, I think I did believe a lot of disingenuous white folks, but eventually you start to hear them say things like Joe Rogan once said, he was talking to interviewing somebody, and they were talking about women and feminism and stuff. And Joe was like, I mean, come on, we don't see them as like human. And the guy was like, no, yeah, we do. And he's like, not like how we are.
Whoa.
Not like human like us. I was like, oh.
Whoa.
He said the thing. This man has a daughter. Yeah.
I mean, the dames can look pretty and all, but a mind. Come on with that sci-fi talk, Norman.
Yeah, but not like us. And I heard somebody talk about Black people's votes in the Democratic Party and stuff, and they were like, yeah, Black people's votes count, but like not like ours.
Damn. I thought it was the one. I thought you could talk about the one that I thought I sent you, where they were like, "We lift the Democratic Party up." I was like, numbers wise, no, not really.
Every little bit counts, Jason. Like
if you went away, they'd be okay. They'd be looking for you like an earring. I want to wear them earrings. Like, where do earrings go?
No,
just wear the Latino vote. You got more of them anyway.
There was a time where Eva Longoria was like, no, it's all about the Latino vote. We were the deciding vote in this, not Black people. And I was like, you are trying to fight over who is the least favorite kid. What? What are you doing, girl?
That's the uncomfortable truth, right? If the only power you have is grievance, that's another thing that no one said to Jacob Savage. If all you can do to try to get any sort of power is use grievance, that moment is over. 2020 and the aftermath, a lot of the grievance was paid out, and it doesn't move the same way. And that's kind of why you have certain backlashes, because we talk about it here on the show all the time. Mm-hmm. All these young streamers that love shitting on like contemporary hip hop, mm-hmm. from a respectability standpoint. Grievance is no longer, it doesn't have the same kind of cultural capital that it had 5-6 years ago. In certain arenas, it still has a little, but even that is fading. So if all you're trying to do is say, well, the grievance is what I'm trying to use to get ahead, it's like, how long do you think that's going to last? And who's that going to work for? When Pradna is going to be the head of the fucking studio, she's not going to give a shit about your white man tears.
I think people's idea of the civil rights movement is boiled down to Martin Luther King Jr. And I think the idea of what Martin Luther King Jr. did, my agreement. I think the idea of what he did was boiled down to having a grievance, mm-hmm. and some kind of moral superiority and like leaning on people for change. I think that's what people think he did. and that's what the speeches and the march was for. There's no understanding of anything else anyone else did on any other level. It's just you made people feel bad, and then they changed things. And I think that's the approach a lot of people have to, I don't know, politics, protest. I remember being on Twitter. I maybe it was like during Ferguson, the Ferguson uprisings and stuff like that. And somebody on Twitter was like, "See, you guys aren't organizers. You don't understand the difference between strategy and tactics. You don't know why in the 60s people were getting arrested. They were getting arrested to overwhelm the jails and cause a problem in that way. And that was because blah, 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 blah." And I was like, a lot of people don't know that. They just know, go to a protest, get arrested. You're doing one for the cause. They don't know like any of the reasons behind it. There's nothing behind it. A friend of mine told me that when she was a kid, globes confused her, or like maps confused her. Like a map of the world, she thought there was nothing behind it but water. She's like, I understand a globe, but like the flat map was behind it. So I think a lot of people think there's nothing behind a lot of this stuff. There's nothing but water. Emily,
that's an interesting thing to think about, like overwhelming the system. Like, because I'm kind of back to right now what you're seeing in Minneapolis. Like, where are all these people going? The jails can't hold all these people. If you're arresting them all, they're gonna be like, we can't hold them. Gotta get them out of here. There's nowhere for them to go.
I mean, I don't know. I think they it's like it's kind of religious. Like, I just hopped up on the cross and going to jail is putting the nails in and stuff. It's like,
don't you feel that's back to what I was saying about the fiery speeches of Van Jones? Like, it's the fiery speeches that we're so addicted to, and the fiery rhetoric.
It's also the visuals, though.
Yeah.
There's definitely, I think the boomers did a magnificent job of just like lionizing all the things they did. Compare that to the silent generation. It's like, you guys really did the big one. You had the war, the last good one, according to anybody, I guess. Except Germans. And then you had the women going in the factories, and then you're doing all the things, and the boomers were just like, we're here. Our hair is long. That's so cool. We
think this is how you fight the power, and they listen. If we think about even the way people look at Black activism and the just erasure of all these other like Black Marxists because they didn't have the fiery speeches. So in the 20s, you're like, well, there was just the Captain Crunch hat guy. Yeah, can't think of his name. Got the Captain Crunch hat. Sold fake boats.
Ooh, the Captain Crunch hat guy. I love that. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
His name is he's just a heavy set gentleman.
Yeah, spoke very quickly. Very, very staccato.
He sang some songs too. He had a great voice, that man. Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Garvey, crypto millionaire.
Yeah, right. So, if you just get on these boats and colonize Africa, we can do it. We can have our own niggers.
Yes.
Who doesn't want a nigger?
I mean, that's the king of the household thing. It's the king, and then everyone else is a nigger in the house.
Girl, get on one of these rickety boats that ain't seaworthy. We gonna have our own niggas.
That ain't seaworthy.
In Africa, he said it's for us. I don't know if the water runs in Africa.
Totally worth it.
Bet they don't have roaches.
Oh. I've never once thought about roaches in Africa. Not once in my life.
Africa's got some surprises for you.
Is that right? I thought about Native Americans and roaches because what they used to do is no. They used to pick up and move the house. It's one of the things you learn about in environmentalism and pesticides and quote unquote pests. They just lived a different way. It wasn't so static. You could just pick up and move. Move away from the ants. Okay, stupid. Makes sense.
Stay here with all these fucking bugs.
All right. That's dumb.
Come on, Marcus has got a boat. We can leave these fucking... Marcus, the big black guy, sings a song. He's got the fucking Captain Crunch hat. Yeah, him. We're going on the boat.
I'm about to have a Varn moment.
Said birthright trips, but for
Africa. I'm not mad at that. So you have
Look
your
at all these
rite of passage.
Wonderful Americans that live here. On the other side is the insurgent native population, which we have colonized. Don't let their blackness fool you.
They not like us. They not. Marcus Garvey doing the dance.
If anyone wants to destroy the internet and make sure they can never be invited to a Kwanzaa celebration, have Marcus Garvey dancing to They Not Like Us next to Kanye West in a white boy magic shirt. That will just... You want to see Jared Ball, his head explode like
He was a half an hour breaking it down.
Dude, if you did that, if I cared enough to look into AI to do that, I would do that. I'm sure Gene Bajan is like, I know the prompts right here.
Right now.
Lickety split.
Oh, I already have it. It's in this file.
There we go. Put this under the TIR Twitter and send. That
killing these sacred cows, man. Just killing them.
That's the video that I get to do a Tucker Carlson interview.
Damn.
I think of you as a heritage American. I just don't agree with everything you say, but
400 years, that's a long time to be in this country.
I think you deserve your rights as a heritage American. And I deserve the right to say Nicholas.
Yeah.
That is how this show goes viral in the wrong way.
Facts.
But, cross your fingers, guys. Gene, if you're watching, please don't do
Hilarious. Gene is halfway done.
that.
Surrendering.
Sarah, looks like I made an oops.
He needs a sitcom. That man needs a sitcom bad.
Can you imagine Gene just sitting there all befuddled by what's with all the outrage?
Why is everybody so upset?
Yeah, 4 million views of Marcus Garvey. They Not Like Us.
Why did I just lose tenure? What happened?
What's even funnier is most of the views thinks it's Biggie Smalls. This don't even look like Biggie. I don't know why you sent me this.
I mean, it's fascinating. A British man in the Midwest.
Red said, it's already sent. so scared to check the TIR Patreon right now. Oh, because Tucson is going to take a team of wolves and dolphins to keep me from hitting share if someone did make that.
Wolves and dolphins.
Yeah, I've seen dolphins kill.
Nah, they do kill. They are violent.
They're violent as shit. I've seen dolphins chase a shark. I was hundreds of miles out in the Gulf working a job, and I was like, that is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Dolphins got really good.
Dolphins they come in pack. You're like, oh shit. They're not Zing Flipper.
They have good propaganda.
They do have a very good dolphins in the tobacco industry have great PR teams.
Tobacco. Oh yes.
Great lobbyists.
There are dolphins in New York, apparently. I didn't know, but I was watching a video where they were showing them in like the East River, and you hear this guy who sounds like very New York, and he's like, "Yo, they got dolphins out here." And someone else was like, "Yeah, they always been here. Where you been?" And I was like, I didn't know we had dolphins out here. That wasn't in New York on the Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper.
Lisa Frank.
I was not supposed to know. Technicolor dolphins. That's right. Dolphins be rapists. They're terrible.
Yeah. Hella rapey ass dog. There's dolphins over here. Yeah, I'm violating the human over here. We don't need the extra attention. Thank you. My God, these people.
Horrible.
Back in my day.
That water is so dirty. That dirty hot dog water. They got dolphins.
The dolphins complaining. Oh, don't go to this dirty water. The water's dirty, Maury. It's dirty.
Oh, there's Norman Finkelstein. Say hi. And maybe at the beach every day.
There's Norman.
His tan is real. It's from the sun. You're not sitting on no bed with lights. You don't have time for that.
The dolphins know Norman. In that, we should probably call it. We've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes, and they flew by. I was scared without Pascal. No, Pascal's not here.
Now, I knew this was going to be fun. I was fired up. Everybody should read Jason's article. I think you should get that published somewhere. To be honest.
I won't get into the whole story about what happened, but I basically had the idea right before Christmas and missed my window. But you never know. You never know. Maybe someone finds some value in it and says, "Hey, we'll give you $45," and I'll take it.
No, send it to Compact. Put it in your counterpoint section.
I was so close.
Yeah?
I was so close. I had the email.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a good no.
Either that or Fatwa on Jacob with a K.
I didn't do it. I think they probably might have thought about publishing it, but then I would have to go through their editorial process. And my God.
All righty.
Then that would have had to cause him to redo it, and then we have to have some sort of face off. And he actually is not far from me in Los Angeles, so I wouldn't have agreed to an interview unless we were in the same room.
I think he is far too cowardly and passive to do something like that.
Someone says $45. You know what I can do with that at the Mexican flea market? Yeah, because that's like 800 pesos.
That's like 7,000 shirts from the DVD guy. T-shirt hole packed.
T-shirt hole packed.
Overflowing.
Oh my God, dude. My shirt connect. I have a new shirt. Did I tell you about making a wrong turn at the flea market? Did I tell you that?
No,
I made a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
no.
So we've been having these things called Santa Ana winds, and they've been very strong, but it's been super warm. And last Sunday, it was probably like 74, 75 degrees, but the winds were maybe like 30, 40 miles an hour. So I went because the winds had died down, but a lot of people didn't show up. And the people that were there, their tents had gotten like blown off. Their little, right? You know,
Wow.
the tops, they had to take it down. So I just started walking up, and usually people's tents are markers for me to know where I am. And since a lot of that was gone, I felt a little discombobulated. And the flea market is fucking massive. And I kept walking, and I kept walking, and I kept walking, and I kept walking, and I got to the top of the hill. And this dude was selling like really high-end shirts for nothing. And I'm like, word? All these shirts is the same price? He's like, yup. I was like, you here every week? He's like, yup. I was like, if I ever get my money from this thing I wrote, I'm come back here. Stock up on work clothes. And I left, and I started walking down the hill. And when I got to the bottom of the hill, I was passing people, and they were looking at me real strange. And I realized, I'm officially on the no gringo side of town.
Oh, Espanol. Espanol solamente.
Yo, it was official. I looked back. I think the flea market was gone because I just kept walking. You know, you just think you're like I'm walking and thinking, and like, oh shit, where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Luckily, I Coach looks at it's taken this long. Dude, I have never been that polite in my life, and I'm pretty polite already.
No, Jason.
I looked like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins.
Wow.
Just doffing my hat to everyone. Buenos tardes. No, no, no. Pásale, adelante.
Oh, tenada. Bowing to everyone. Are you in Japan? Being racist.
I was so scared of everything. The dogs got bigger and more violent looking.
Oh my God.
And everywhere I went, I heard the Boys in the Hood saxophones. I was like, oh shit. Oh shit.
Yes, Virtuoso. I used to watch Sábado Gigante.
Dude. Yeah, lo siento. Oh, lo siento. And they're like, so what made it worse, Toussaint? I was wearing my Richmond, California sweatshirt with my Richmond, California hat. And
of course,
that's the Bay. And a lot of deportees come from SoCal.
Yes.
So as I'm making my misguided journey, I accidentally roll up on two people that I think were sent here against their will.
Oh.
Who might have engaged in a few gangland misdemeanors.
Hey.
Or so their tattoos on their head said that.
Oh.
And they were speaking English. And they turned around and saw me, and they went. And I'm wearing all this base shit. I'm like, well, hello, fellas. Beautiful day we have here.
Jesus.
They were so surprised by me as I was by them. It was like, how are you? Yeah, it was
How's it going?
yeah. Now, if I fuck up and do that again, I probably won't get to the hey, the first time. It was a oops. We got to fuck you up now.
Real quick, the Facebook page that Pascal doesn't want me to read anymore. They always call the rapper Blueface. He has the tattoos all over his face.
Yes.
They say he looks like a Chipotle bag.
He looks like a detention desk.
Detention desk.
Every time I see that dude Blueface, I'm always like, how? You're going to make me write a Jacob Savage article.
Yeah.
I've tried. My mother knows I've tried, but these niggas just keep getting ahead.
I think he's on Tubi.
Kushlik says really honing and gringo shine. Looking at the shiniest gringo.
Hey there, buddy.
Tucson, I had these little shorts on that I'm wearing right now and all this Richmond shit. I think these dudes like, did this bodybuilder just get lost? This autistic bodybuilder just get lost?
Out of control.
So yeah, don't there's just certain streets. I told Connie goes, you didn't go over the hill, did you? I was like, Connie, I was on the other side of the hill.
You went over the hill.
I feel like I went to a secret world.
Yeah.
Kushlik said, unhand me. I am a podcaster.
They'll be looking for me if I miss it.
My first thought, you know what's so funny? My first thought was, ain't nobody finna look for me. Ben might, like, in 2 days. Hey, is everybody see Jay?
Hey, my CJ.
I saw his car by the Walmart. I don't know what it is.
I'll just go make some bagels. No big deal.
Yeah.
This could be the first 48, but who cares?
Just get a few questions. Connie, did you see Jay? No? Oh, well. That's the way it goes, I guess.
Jason screaming out his social security number and yo soy influencer.
Unhand me, rapscallion.
How dare you?
What's with all the tears, sad sack? Yeah, that's a real thing that I did. And but that's the only way I can find the new shirt connect, Tucson. I was like, are you in the same spot? He's like, see,
you like those explorers looking for spices. I gotta get the new shirt connect. Wait till everybody sees these.
I was like Indiana Jones giving the guy the money. I was like this at the end of the shirt and the money. And I was like, this can't be real for the shirt.
Is this India? Wild.
But yeah, that man was like, I don't know. I think it's an autistic bodybuilder guy. He's just fucking... Kushlik says, I've been to the sketchiest parts of Mexico City to get questionable Lady Gaga show.
Why?
If I was a Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift fan, there's some really nice Gaga Swift merch, but I am neither. So I will not partake. But this guy had like nice. I was like, oh man, where did you? It was like you curated this too. I know you had to. This is all like big name. I was like, ooh, it's like
Did you
going
know
to
I
a
was
Nordstrom
coming,
rack.
Heather? Did you know?
I was like, I want to get a La Tigra polo shirt so I can wear it for MT.
For what? For what? Lacoste t-shirts with the alligator mouth clothes.
Oh my! With the clothes. The polo guy's off the horse, getting stomped by the horse.
There you go.
Dude, I'm not. Just know that your Christmas present, MT, is coming from a secret spot of the Mexican flea market.
Oh my God.
Where no gringos dare to roam.
Deep in the heart of the Mexican flea market.
Deep in the heart of the tianguis.
Everything is haggled for.
Yeah, I'm getting good at haggling.
Look at you. No. 5 pesos. No. 5 pesos.
I have all these books. I needed a bookshelf. This dude had a bookshelf. I was like, how much for the bookshelf? And he told me in Spanish, 450. And I was like, nah, that's just ridiculous. And he just kind of stared at me. First of all, why do you know Spanish? That's like, well, fuck, I live here, dude. What's supposed to do? Mime it to you?
Yeah.
Okay, but seriously, we have to go. We're hitting the 3-hour mark. Toussaint has baking to do.
I'm actually expecting my friend to come over. He is a white man that I've given a job to. Building these shelves ain't gonna build themselves. I read this article and I was like, I had to help the fellas out.
You read Jacob Savage's article. Like, is there an unemployed white man that can help me build this IKEA shelf?
Exactly.
Then you got to hear about his script the whole time because you live in New York. Oh,
His script.
You are doing the charity in this.
I am. I'm a good person. He wrote the theory. I did the praxis. I love that.
Is Toussaint sugar mamaing it? No, she just went to the TaskRabbit site and they're sending her some white guy with 5 o'clock shadow. It smells like cigarettes.
Yeah, he's the filter. White man.
Job creator. Toussaint. Yeah, open the window. You smell like cigarettes and despair. I'm going to need you to open the window. I have a job because I'm black.
Because I'm black.
Black woman. Can't take that. How do you like it? If you knew where I worked, sir, you'd be even more mad at me. So go fuck yourself.
Right.
Someone said, unhand me. I am a podcaster. Goes hardest. Damn. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, all kinds of t-shirts.
Yeah, what was it? White boy magic. White boy magic. We have to make white boy magic.
We need a picture of Daniel Bessner in it. Well, we have to find out
white boy magic.
how he self-identifies first, and then
I was gonna say Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet wants black boy magic.
Yeah, but that's what makes it even better. It's white boy magic. Timothy Chalamet and white boy magic. Oh my god! Can you imagine the people that will wear it just because of the? Oh, let's look. That's an off-air conversation. Thank you guys for hanging out with Toussaint and I. The show will be back tomorrow with Stefan. I don't know if Quinn's going to be there, but Stefan and Kuba are going to be discussing. I totally forgot. Oh, AI. Stefan and Kuba will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific to discuss A to the I. I will be back Tuesday, where I'll be speaking with someone I've been wanting to talk to for years. He was a big influence on How to Be, or I Was a Teenage Anarchist. Stephen Blush, the writer that wrote American Hardcore, has a new book out about when rock met hip hop, about the rise of new metal. So we'll be discussing his latest book, and that'll be Tuesday. So there's a lot still going on in the TIR universe. And as Toussaint has been saying over and over, wherever you are watching or listening to this later, there is a link in the description to my response to Lost Generations as well. Excuse me, as Lost Generations itself. I published all this stuff first in Patreon, and I wasn't real keen on doing it on the Substack that we have. But we do have a TIR Substack that has a fair amount of our articles and some of the older crisis papers in there, and it is totally free. Nothing is behind a paywall. But if you do enjoy what we do here and you'd like to support, then of course become a patron or a paid YouTube subscriber. And on that note, let's go out with cartoons. We are
out.
Peace.